Hello dear students, welcome to the third topic of the Python programming video lecture series. In the first and second topic we have seen introduction to programming and introduction to Python. Now let us see variables in Python. What are variables? Variables are nothing but the name given to the memory location. For example, there is memory in your computer with different addresses. Like if you declare the variable a equal to 5, then what happen? This a value will be given to some of the memory location. Let's say this is the memory location allotted to save this 5 value. So the 5 value will be stored in this memory location. So a is the variable which is referring to this memory location. So we don't have to remember the memory address of the memory location, but we have to simply remember the a, because a is acting as the reference to the memory location where 5 is saved. Similarly, if we save b equal to 7, what happens? Another memory location will be allotted for saving this 7. The 7 will be stored in this memory location. Now b will be acting as the reference for this memory location. So b is nothing but the name of the memory location in that case. Right. Now there are some rules to define, or some important points to define a variable. So the first point is the first character of the variable should be either the alphabet or it should be a underscore. So whenever we are defining the variable, it should contain alphabet like A, B up to Z. Alphabets are A to Z. Alphabets can be used as the first letter of the variable, or we can use the underscore. So underscore is not generally that much used. We generally use alphabets. It can be small alphabet or it can be capital letters of the A to Z. So it should start with either capital alphabet or the small alphabet. That is the first point we have to note. Second point is that it should not contain any special character. So if you want to create a variable like a star equal to 5, so it is not a valid variable name. Similarly, if you want like star b, it is also not a valid variable. So it should never contain a special character. But we can have a variable which is simply letters, or we can have the variable which can have the number, but the number should not be at the start. So when the number is coming after the letters, alphabetical letters, then it is a valid variable name. But if we put the number before the alphabet, then it is also an invalid variable name in Python. Similarly, space is not allowed in the variable name. We cannot write my space name equal to some name like Sachin. If I am writing, then it is not a valid variable name, because the space is not allowed. So if you want to give the gap, then you may use the underscore to give the variable name. So that will become a valid variable name. So that are the some basic rules that we have to remember while writing the variable names. Also, we should not use the reserved keywords that are there in the Python to define a variable. For example, we cannot use print, because print is already a reserved keyword which is reserved for the function. Similarly, input is again a function, so we cannot use input as a variable name. Int, class, def, list, set, if, else, this cannot be used as variable name. We can see that here. This is the Jupyter notebook I have opened. Let us go to documents. Here let me create a new file. New file is created, it is opening. Now let me rename it to topic 3, that is variable. So that is our title of this Jupyter notebook file. Now we can write print like welcome to topic 3. We can print it. But if you want to give the, if you give variable name as print like equal to 5, and one more variable I have defined like a equal to 10. Now if I run it, what happens? The print will be considered as a variable name. Now the print function will stop working. Here it was working, but here as we have made it a variable, now the print statement will not work. If I write print a, then it will not execute this command, because now print is not a function but it is now a variable. So to avoid such type of errors, we should not use the reserved keyword as the variable name. So if you are getting this type of error, you might restart the kernel. When you restart the kernel, you have to remove the variable with the keyword. When you run it, now it is able to run. So what is kernel? Kernel is nothing but the background engine, the background software which is running all these things. It is like the interpreter, right? So it is running all the code that you are giving, and it is showing the output in the Jupyter. That is the kernel. So whenever kernel is busy, you get a black dot here. When kernel is free, you get a white circle here, right? Like if I am running, you can see that it becomes black for some time. Okay, that is about the variables. We will see few more example. We can write a1 equal to 10. We can write b c d equal to 5. So these are valid variable name. We can print the value of a1. We can also print the value of b c d, right? So this is valid variable name. But one more thing to remember is that if we write it in the single quote or double quote, then you will not get the output here. The reason is that whenever we write it in double quote, what happens? It will be considered as a text. So it will simply print whatever is written inside the double quote. So here a1 is written inside the double quote, so a1 will be printed. So the value of the a1 variable will not be printed. Now a1 is not a variable, it is a text. So while you are printing, don't use the double quote or the single quote around this. That is how we use. We can also make the variable name like underscore a or underscore a equal to 5. We can print it underscore a. We can see we are getting the output. So it is valid. Similarly, we can we cannot write abc star or abc hash equal to like any name Python. It is not a valid name because it is having special character. So that is not allowed in Python. You can simply write abc equal to Python. So that is some important points that we have to remember. Also, we cannot write my name equal to Rupesh because the space is not allowed. If you want to have the gap between these two, we can simply add the underscore and we can get the output when we print this variable. If I write print my underscore name, it will give the value of the variable. So these are some of the important points that we have to remember while using variables. So one thing is, first point is we should not use that the reserved keyword as the variable name. Second is that it should start with the alphabet. It can be small letter or it can be capital English letter A to Z, and it can also start with underscore, but generally we do not use it that much. We always start it with the alphabet. And if I am writing a equal to 10, capital A equal to 20, and if I print a, I am getting 10 because the variables are case sensitive. So Python is also case sensitive. So the small a and capital A, these are two different values. These two are pointing to different memory location. Similarly, if you want to assign, we use the equal to sign like we have seen, like counter equal to 100, miles equal to 1000.0, name equal to John. You can print it like this. Multiple values can be printed. Counter, then I'm printing this comma, then miles, then comma, then name. That can be done. We can also use all these variables, like we can check the type of the variable also. Type means what type of data is that. For example, see here, A and B, the small a and capital A are the integer type, so we can write print the type of A. So it is giving that it is the integer value. So the A variable that is created, it is of type integer. Similarly, I have created one more variable here, like my name. If I check the type of print the type of my underscore name. So it is telling that this is of string type, because the value that I am storing is string. Whatever text you write, that under whatever text you write inside the double quote or single quote, that became string. That is why it is showing it is of string type. Okay, now we can also define multiple variables, and we can assign that a single value. Let us see that. Like I am writing x comma y comma z equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. Now when I print x value, it will give 10 only, because 10 is the first value, so it will go to the first variable. 20 is the second value, it will go to the second variable. Similarly, 30 is the third value, which will go to the third variable. I can also print multiple values like x comma y comma z. So all the three values will be printed. Right? Print the value of y. Here we can see I am getting 20. Okay, that is all about the variables. In the next video, we will see built-in functions in Python, where we will see the functions like print, input, int, type, len. All that functions will be studied in next video. Thank you.